Hi, this is our stateroom tour of cabins 1060
and 1065.
on the Celebrity Equinox. Tap card entry right into our Concierge Class stateroom, and you'll notice on the right our Concierge Class amenity gifts, including our sparkling wine.
Which was already there. We didn't have to request it. That was great. Here you have the balcony.
Which we love.
These balconies are quite large, and we spent a lot of time out here. Here we are still in Fort Lauderdale.
So we're going to have to stop here because unfortunately we had to change staterooms. But while you're at it, make sure to like and subscribe. We'd appreciate it.
And in switching rooms in the middle of a cruise, that doesn't mean we get to bring you some coverage of both rooms 1060 and rooms 1065. And that's really the only silver lining to this room change. But find out more about it later in the video. So let's get back to it, and we will return to touring room 1065.
1065. Here we are, we're tapping into stateroom 1065 on the Celebrity Equinox. Another concierge class room, happens to be on the other side of the ship. As you can see when you walk in, it's standard design. It's a comfortable room. It's not overly modern, but it's not so antiquated that you feel like you're on a ship that's almost 20 years old. Really kind of like the fact that the safe is above the refrigerator as opposed to in the closet. Standard refrigerator, we had our paid items removed. That is our Wi-Fi router, which I'll explain more about in a little bit. Kind of moving over, full-length mirror. There's our closet with the two robes, which we never wore on this trip. There is the AC controller, which you'll hear a lot about AC in some upcoming videos. The bathroom is pretty good. I really like it. It has a 1990s vibe to it, but it's a really efficient use of space. You have these little drawers over here, which, kind of put some really small items in there, but it kind of keeps the clutter, kind of keeps it reduced. We really like this cabinet with a glass door. We could see the items that we use frequently. Then there's this cabinet down here where we kind of stored stuff we didn't want to look at. We have a hair dryer, totally unuseful for Jason. And here is the shower. I'm about 5'11", and Jason's about 6'1". It's perfectly sized for us. Had the upgraded shower head, which I'm not sure what the upgrade was. It had about 3 different settings, but they all kind of felt the same. Bigelow bath products, which are a nice addition. And the toilet paper, which comes free in Concierge Class as well as all other classes on Celebrity. For now. Walking into the room, you can see that sofa. We use that sometimes. And here is the artwork. It makes me a little uncomfortable. Why is her face blurred? Who's she hiding from? What has she done? Love the overhead cabinet here. We were able to put our t-shirts, our shorts, our swim trunks, and other items. Every ship should have this. That is the reading light. There are no outlets on this side of the room. Telephone. Cushions can come off and create an additional lounger bed. Moving on over towards the veranda, you'll notice the door is open. More about that in another video. On this side of the bed, you have some storage and you have a reading light as well as the master control for the other lights in the room. heading out onto the veranda, which we still love. It's great space. Has reclining chairs as well as ottomans and a table.
I do say the age of the ship can be seen a bit out on the veranda.
The Equinox is definitely in need of some kind of care, bit of a refresh.
Which it will be doing before it moves from Fort Lauderdale to Port Canaveral next year.
You will see the stack of pillows. That is because we decided to use the pillow menu. So on the first night, you might have your pillows presented to you in this way. Ample storage beneath the bed for your luggage.
We use this space here for all of our daily planners, all the paperwork that comes with the room. It was really helpful just to keep it out of the way and not have to shove it in a drawer.
Nice span of the room. And now the swivel out TV, which is necessary and great for watching TV from bed or checking your account.
Just know you can't put anything tall in front of it, as we displayed there. These rooms are definitely spacious. They're not the largest in the cruise world,
no,
but I felt like we had plenty of room.
Vanity drawer, 2 standard North American 110 volt outlets, and 1 220 standard European outlet.
Here you have the old school AC controls, which...
More about later. The vanity has a switch, as you can see, to operate. All right, so let's go over some of the specifics of the cabin.
Okay, so cabins 1060 and 1065 on the Celebrity Equinox are Concierge Class staterooms located on deck 10. They are category C2 cabins with a private veranda that has lounge seating. The cabin features 2 twin beds that can be converted to a queen-size bed, considerable closet space, and a private bathroom with a shower, obviously. Additionally, it has a comfortable sitting area with a desk, drawer space, vanity, and sofa. The cabin is equipped with its own interactive flat-screen television so you can check your account, direct dial telephone and voicemail, wireless internet access, hairdryer, mini bar, individual safe, 100% cotton towels and linens, complimentary use of bathrobes, and 24-hour room service, though there is a charge. Concierge Class amenities include priority check-in, a welcome bottle of sparkling wine, afternoon hors d'oeuvres, pillow menu, restaurant seating preferences, shoe shine service, and a celebrity embossed card holder. The size of the stateroom is 194 square feet with an additional 54 square feet of the balcony. If you want to find out more about our thoughts on Concierge Class and whether it's worth it, check out our video. We'll put it up and we'll put it in the description. Let's start off talking a little more in depth about decor for the room. What did you think of it?
The decor is comfortable. It's not overly modern. It's contemporary. It's clean. It's functional.
It really shows the 2000s era of when the ship was built. Even though it's been updated, it's comfortable, but it is a bit dated.
But it's functional, which is what I liked most about it.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the bathroom. How did you feel about that?
The bathroom is less of a 2000 vibe and more of a 90s vibe. But it's but honestly, again, it's a really functional space. When you compare it to the newer ships, there's far more storage and far more space to kind of organize your stuff and kind of keep the place kind of neat.
That glass doored area was my favorite part by far. That, right. And there's no shower curtain, and the shower's large enough. We're both 6 foot or taller, and we had no problems with the bathroom.
Okay.
Next up, let's talk about technology. So this is how you get in the room, the app, the interactive TV, and the outlets.
So it's a tap card entry. You have, let me think, there's few outlets, so I can actually name them. There's one outlet in the bathroom. I'm not sure of the voltage, actually. It's for a razor or...
And it's
something.
North American.
It is a North American outlet. Then you have 2 at the vanity desk. So there are 2 standard North American 110 volt outlets and 1 standard 220 European.
You won't find any outlets to the left or the right of the bed, so you'll be charging up your devices from the vanity.
It has a somewhat decent library of free videos, despite the fact that it says it will charge to your room. I mean, that's about it. And it has some live channels, limited.
Yeah, there's a few news channels.
But, you know, it's standard. Better than some, worse than some.
If you don't have the streaming Wi-Fi package, I definitely recommend downloading your favorite shows before you get on board. Okay, let's talk about the balcony, or actually balconies.
So, as said earlier, the balconies they're spacious. They have a good depth that you're not finding on the newer ships. Large space, however, I think when we were on now, I get those confused. When we were on the starboard side of the ship and room 1060, we had the overhang from the upper decks.
Yes.
Which some people prefer because they feel that it kind of gives a bit of filter for the light.
Yeah, it blocks out the heat of the sun from
I personally find that it has kind of like this very industrial overtone that I don't like. So when we moved to the port side of the ship, which would be room 1065, we had kind of just a clear view, no overhang, except, of course, for just the deck above us.
Right, and we found both balconies were dirty and in need of a good washing and maybe some cleanup.
Right.
The first balcony in 1060, someone had written "clean me" in the glass. So clearly it had been there for a little while, and it was very obvious. We have a video of that we'll put up.
Which was just odd because, you know, allegedly you would think that they would have checked these things out prior to people embarking.
Right, I don't think they do some checks of the balconies. And then the second balcony, the location is something I think everyone should be aware of.
It's right above the smoking area.
Yes, and we were deck 10, so 5 decks up from where the smoking area is. And we could occasionally get a whiff of smoke, and it wasn't bad at all. But I would say if you were at deck 8 or lower, and you didn't like smelling smoke, that would be
smoking lounge,
probably obnoxious.
Absolutely.
So I would look at that and look at the ship plan, which is always important before you book your room, so you're not surprised that you're underneath the disco or underneath where they're moving carts for the buffet.
Right. I'm always baffled by people, even some of the vloggers who are kind of in the lead of this whole thing, when they're kind of like, oh, I wound up in a room that was above a bar or a toilet. I mean, I think that it's just sort of essential that you kind of look at your deck plan before selecting.
Look at the deck below, look at the deck above, and read some reviews. There's plenty of information. I mean, you're watching this video right now because you want to know more about the cabins, and specifically cabins 1060 and 1065.
Right, and keep in mind, of course, if you're doing a stateroom guarantee, you're not really going to have a choice. The ship is going to select for you where you are located.
Right. So finally, let's talk about storage in these cabins.
I love the storage in these cabins. I think my other favorite thing, though, is the overhead storage, which has kind of a hinge door which flips upward, and it's basically a long cubicle where you could store all of your bulk clothes items, you know, shorts, t-shirts, sweatshirts if you were carrying any, just things that would generally get in the closet but kind of cluttered up and be hard to find. This was ideal.
Right. So, as we promised earlier in the video, we're going to talk about why we had to switch rooms and the AC issues that caused that. Before we do that, so that you won't miss that content in other future videos, please make sure you subscribe and give us a like while you're at it.
Definitely like this.
So, you want to share why we had to switch cabins in the middle of a cruise? Not ideal.
This is going to be seen more in another video, but essentially what happened was that when we boarded the ship and we entered our stateroom, I just noticed it was very warm, a little bit more warm than your ordinary kind of, oh, we're at port, the air hasn't kicked in type of situation. It was humid. We asked the steward. He assured us that this would be resolved by the time we sailed away. I personally was a little bit dubious, and definitely did not want to be held captive in a hot stateroom for 8 days, knowing that the ship was sold out.
Yeah, we've all read the news stories and seen AC issues on cruise ships are not fun. Not when it's the middle of August and mid to upper 90s while you're cruising.
Right.
You pay a lot for these cabins. You want at least to be comfortable, especially while you're trying to sleep.
Right.
So, partway through the cruise, they were finally able to find a stateroom to switch us to. It was close by. They were helpful in the move. It was as good of a resolution as we could have hoped for, with some additional problems in the new cabin.
Right.
So, in the next video, we will go into not only what these issues were, how we resolved them, but also give you some tips and tricks on if you have an issue while you're cruising, like what are some ways you can rectify it the easiest and get things back on schedule for your vacation where you don't want to be worried about these sort of issues. So thank you for going on a cabin tour of cabins 1060 and 1065 on the Celebrity Equinox with us.
And make sure to look out for our next video,
Right.
which will be a more honest review of like what our actual experience was, and as Jason's already said, how we resolved them. Just tip, always remember to keep your cool, make your face known, and make friends.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you all soon.